I would like to call this meeting of the Evesham Township Board of Education to order. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate public notice has been given by the Secretary of Evesham Township Board of Education in the following manner. Posting written notice on the official bulletin board at the Board of Education office, emailing written notice to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post, filing written notice with the municipal clerk of Evesham Township. May I have a roll call?
Mrs. Capello?
Here.
Mrs. Everhart?
Here.
Mr. Fizzicaro?
Here.
Mr. Canton?
Here.
Mrs. Knoll?
Here.
Mr. Lanzalata? Miss Lee?
Here.
Mr. Megan?
Here.
Mrs. Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, at this time, I would ask for a motion to go into executive session and a motion to approve items 2.1 through 2.4, whereas NJSA 10-4-12 allows for a public body to go into closed session during public meeting, and whereas the Board of Education of Evesham Township has deemed it necessary to go into closed session to discuss certain matters which are exempted from the public, and whereas the regular meeting of the board will reconvene following the end of the closed session at approximately 7:30 p.m. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education will go into session for the following reasons as outlined in NJSA 10-4-12, items 2.2 through 2.4. Do I have a motion? Mr. Fizzicaro? Ms. Knoll? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Capello?
Yes.
Mrs. Everhart?
Yes.
Mr. Fizzicaro?
Yes.
Mr. Canton?
Yes.
Mrs. Knoll?
Yes.
Miss Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Megan?
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, see you at approximately 7:30. I would like to resume this meeting of the Evesham Township Board of Education. Can you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, Board Member Janice Knoll will read the mission statement of the Evesham Township School District.
The mission of the Evesham Township School District is to promote excellence in an environment that engages students in meaningful learning experiences. In partnership with students, dedicated staff, families, and community, the district provides a strong educational foundation that will empower our students to achieve their unique potential, embrace self-directed lifelong learning, develop the skills necessary for appropriate risk-taking and responsible decision-making, respect themselves and others, problem-solve individually and collaboratively, and become contributing members of a diverse global society.
Thank you, Mrs. Knoll. At this point, we're going to be moving on to presentations. Dr. Smith, the floor is all yours.
There we go. There we go. We have a packed house tonight. This is absolutely fantastic. So exciting. So we're going to start off with our ELKS, our 2022 ELKS essay contest winners. And so I'm going to have a few people come up and join me here. First off, from the ELKS, David and Diana Magis. Come on down. They run the contest. If you can, and Rob McDonough is there too. If you can come on down. Thank you so much. Our board president Leah Ryan and vice president Anish Kanthan are going to join us as well. We're going to go by school. Marlton Elementary School. And if our teachers are here too, you can come down with your student if you don't mind. So we have Luke Corson with teacher Shannon McLaughlin, first winner. Look, yeah, just hang here and just enjoy all the positive attention from everybody, all right? And the way we're going to do it when the next person comes down is we'll get the handshakes out of the way first, and then we'll fill your hands with all the prizes and recognitions, all right? So next person is Adriana Di Bartolomeo with teacher Emily Atley. And our next student from Marlton Elementary is Ishan Nandi with teacher Kelly Durham Jones. Thanks so much for coming. Next up, now we're moving on to the middle school. We've got DeMasi Middle School, Nupur Waji with teacher Sandy Groff. Next up after that, we've got Shrina Vimalukanda with teacher Wendy Metzger. And last but certainly not least, from DeMasi Middle School, Alexa Dolores with teacher Wendy Metzger. Congratulations. And if we can have all of our award winners kind of pivot and move here in the middle. Let's get some photos if parents want to come down and take a picture of everybody. Yeah, just
Make a line.
yeah. Can all kind of squeeze in, make 2 rows. Awesome job. Congrats again to all our students. I noticed there was like gift cards, paperclip to those plaques and other stuff. Mr. and Mrs. Matus, thank you so much thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Having the pledge right before that was perfect. I mean, I think this is the largest turnout we've had since, certainly my time here since COVID, and to hear all those voices saying the pledge together was really powerful, and I think a perfect lead into that essay contest. So thanks to all the families from those winners who came out, and again, congratulations to all the students, and thanks to the Elks for that contest. We're going to move on to our next group of change makers, and these are, yeah, that's how we do it here. Okay, lots of kids. 57, so 63 students total tonight, 57 student council students, all 5th graders, 5 of 6 of our elementary schools involved. The only school that's not, I'm just calling it out because somebody will notice, Beeler, only involved because they were doing other amazing things with their student council, okay? So what we're going to do is call students down by school and their teachers, if they're here, to please come down when they do. And if we can have, so a little background on this, and our Evesham Police is here, and if Representatives Chief Miller, Captain Reinhold, if you want to, I see Captain Burdette there, if you want to come down to be with us as we recognize the students, that'd be awesome. And I don't know, are the dogs here too? Do they, We have actual canines here, okay? Because that's what this was about. So the background on this was our student councils raised money for a canine memorial that's going to go outside the Township building. Their target was $2,000-ish. They came in at $4,000 raised, so absolutely fantastic. I don't know if they're like our you know, we do a great program called Literacy and Leashes, and those dogs are trained to be absolutely perfect with kids, and canines are.
Are you going to call down all the kids? And I know.
I thought we'd go by school, kind of do by school, yeah, I think.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
We can take a picture. We ordered a big check.
Yeah. I'm going to pass off the mic to Geraldine Coveley, one of our awesome kindergarten teachers, to say a little bit about the fundraiser.
Hi, good evening. So my husband is a retired sergeant from the township, and he saw a really cool idea with Canine Memorial in Gloucester Township, and we thought, what a great thing to do for Evesham. So Jaggard's supervisor for the student council reached out to the other student councils, and we thought, could we do this? Well, together we raised $3,708.68 with all the kids of the Queen War. So hopefully it'll be worked on and will become a reality. So I'll give this back to you.
All right. And if it doesn't work, they can go back outside. But let me grab these. All right. So this is the largest handshake line we've ever had as well, I have to say, up here. So so we're going to go by school. We're going to start with DES. Robert Beinecke, if he's here. All right. And then we've got Aaron Gallagher. Daisy Lysa. Avery Raymond. Madison Tierman.
Thank you.
And Holden Schreiber Millilly. I'm just going to check the cheat sheet. Yep. And if Barbara Milich is here too, oh, cool. DES advisor.
Thank you.
If parents want to, from DES, want to stand up and take pics here. All right, we're going to move on to Jaggard. And if Teacher Hope Phillips is here, and can come on down, please do. Oh, good. Awesome. All right, first up, we have Marcus Boyd. Then we've got Sydney Carroll. Abigail Escalante Gonzalez. Riansh Gajati. Anya Intelizano. Chloe Genovi. and Carly Ridley. This is Jaggard Elementary School's 5th grade student council. Awesome. Congrats to Jaggard Student Council. Thank you, James. We're moving on to Rice now, and I want to add that if I get anyone's name wrong while I'm reading, it truly is because the name is beautiful. I'm able to pronounce it in the right way, so the fault is with me. My last name is Smith. It's I have no practice, but apologies in advance. So we've got first up from Rice, Matthew Acciani Jr., if he's here. Grace Bouchard. Luke Cheeseman. Carly Dougherty. And if Stephanie Duthie and Lindsay McLeod are here, come on down. These are the 2 teacher advisors for the 5th grade student council at Rice. Olivia Franks. Gavin Johnson. Gavin Kimball. Skylar Lord. Lorenzo Musto. Isaiah Santiago. Ryan Schultz. Madison Smith. These are our Rice 5th grade student council champs. Congrats again to Rice. All right, we're going to move on to Van Zant. And MES, I didn't forget about you. There's a reason why I skipped over. Christine Keltzos and Cheryl Narath, if you're here and you want to come down. And I saw Mr. de Blasi here too. If you want to, you're good? Okay, all right. All right. So let's start off with Caden Bussarello. Dylan Coburn. Gianna DeAngelis. Angela Feeney. Tristan Hall. Congrats, Tristan. Caden Hijazi. Congratulations. Ellison Kennedy. Charles Liu. Congratulations. Callie Moore. Brinley Rogers. Paige Rosenkowitz. And Henry Swain. That's our Van Zant 5th grade student council. And thanks, Mrs. Kotos, for being here. So last but not least, MES, I kind of saved them for the end because they're the largest student council of all the schools, okay? So if Emily Atley, Kelly Durham-Jones, or Shannon McLaughlin are here, the teachers, come on down. Awesome, thank you, thank you. And we're gonna start off with Nadia Alaba. Nicholas Alaba. Lucille Amato. Get so much applause. Aaron Benjamin. Ella Betts. Lucy Brennan. Adeline Christensen. Jocelyn Cohen. Adriana Di Bartolomeo. Ava Guarini. Nicholas Hopp. Asher Miller. Ishan Nandi. Congratulations. Benjamin Nettleton. Ryan Niederberger. Congratulations, Ryan. Gavin Quinn. Congratulations. Carter Reeve. Congratulations, Carter. Rebecca Shapiro. Congratulations. And Jack Thompson. This is the MES 5th grade Student Council representing. All right, if we can give a last round of applause for all of our Student Council winners. And thank you to Evesham Police Department for coming tonight, bringing the dogs. We're so grateful for all of the collaboration and support we get from our Evesham Police, and it feels so good for our students to be able to be change makers and give back in this way. So again, thank you so much to our schools. Oh, you know what? I'll send it to him. We'll send it to him, though. Thank you. What one with all the... You guys all right?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah,
all right.
We're hanging in there.
Yeah.
No dog officers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know Lee and I are both definitely afraid of dogs?
Like each other.
Both of us,
right.
Yeah. That's why we're...
We're gonna take a quick 2-minute recess to let folks clear out if they want. Families that came for the awards, thanks so much for being here. You don't need to stay for the whole meeting if you don't want to.
To item 5 on the agenda, our solicitor, Mr. Will Donio, would like to say something. Order. Order. Thank you very much. Mr. Donio, floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Board members, I appreciate you indulging me for this just very briefly. At the last meeting, there was a member of the association who was speaking on an item. I can't remember who the exact member was, but I interrupted him to direct him that the first public session was only about agenda items. And while they talked about a number of items that weren't on the agenda, one of the items they talked about was on the agenda. So I do owe him an apology for trying to insist that what he was doing was either clever or what have you. I wasn't totally right. Well, I wasn't totally wrong, but I wasn't totally right. And I think it's very important as a professional, especially representing a public entity, that when you get it wrong, you admit it and you apologize for that. In addition, I just want the public to know I am absolutely a First Amendment absolutist. That's the counsel I give my school districts. It's the freedom of speech, petition government for redresses is essential. A freedom guaranteed by the First Amendment. It's not given to us, it's guaranteed for us. And so I just wanted to express that because when I'm interrupting or doing something along those lines, it's not because I don't want to hear what somebody has to say. It's the best way to treat people fairly is to treat them equally. So if you're going to have a rule that applies, it has to apply uniformly for everyone, and that's important regardless of whomever's coming before the podium. So again, I just wanted to state that publicly. If someone goes off the agenda, at the next public session, I'll interrupt again. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do that, because that's an orderly approach to a public meeting is the most essential way to ensure transparency and to ensure that the public has the ability to believe that their government is acting in their best interests. So thank you.
Okay. And I was going to also make a little statement. So one of the main goals of the Evesham Township Board of Education is to make decisions which are in the best interest of our children. Whether you agree with us or not, we have policies and procedures in place to afford us the opportunity to make important decisions without impediment from the public. Boards use the public comment period as an opportunity to listen to community concerns, not to debate issues or enter into a question and answer session. Not all issues brought before the board will be resolved on the same day. We want to hear what the audience has to say. Any concerns to the residents of the school district, as evidenced in our agenda, permitting 2 public comments. We do not, however, want our policies and procedures mocked by the public by speaking out of turn while not at the microphone, or by those choosing to speak and offering fake names and addresses like those of fictional characters. We will ask for name and addresses, and if you choose not to disclose, please state that. At this point, I'd like to open the meeting to public comment. Just in case anyone is not aware, we have 2 public comments. First public comment is for what is on the agenda, and the second public comment, which happens later in the evening, is for anything you wish to discuss. The meeting will now be open to the public, referencing agenda items only. However, if your questions pertain to student or personnel items or negotiations, we ask that you see the superintendent after the meeting, since we do not discuss these matters in public. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes per person. It's also crucial, please, for you to give us your name, address before you speak up, and also to limit your comments to 1 time per public comment period. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we are going to close that portion of the meeting. There will be another public comment section at the end. At this point, we're going to move forward with the approval of minutes. I need a motion to approve items 6.1 and 6.2. Do I have a motion? Mr. Fizzicaro, second. Ms. Capello? Any questions or comments regarding the minutes? Okay, seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Capello?
Yes.
Mrs. Everhart?
Yes.
Mr. Fizzicaro?
Yes.
Mr. Caffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Knoll?
Abstain.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Meegan?
Abstain.
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. At this point, we're going to move on to item 7, Superintendent's Report and Administrative Items. Do I have a motion to approve items 7.1 through 7.5? Ms. Knoll, seconded. Mr. Canthan? Before we get into questions and comments, I'm going to give the floor to Dr. Smith for his superintendent comments.
Thank you, President Ryan. And after all those wonderful student presentations, I will try to keep my remarks short and sweet, but I would be very remiss to not mention a few other change makers in our district recently that go along with the students we recognize tonight. These are amazing kids. Earlier today, 6 ABC News aired a segment about a project created by one of our 4th graders, Natalie Rogers, to raise funds for the nonprofit Refugee Strong. And that was after reading the book, When Stars Are Scattered. She and her friends sold their handmade loom bracelets at the school's book fair and raised a total of, and I'm going to say this exactly, $501.79, because their motto is, every penny counts. And if you want to see that segment, this is my plug for our Evesham Twitter, just go to ETSD Twitter and you can see the link that we tweeted out earlier today. It's a really great, inspiring segment. And with the help of the Van Zant PTO, the author of the book, Omar Muhammad, visited the school for all of the 4th grade. The author was a refugee and created Refugee Strong, and the book is his story. And When Stars Are Scattered is a core literature book in our 4th grade curriculum. Speaking of staff change makers, I would like to recognize Teddy Bear Academy and TBA Director Leah Perlmutter for 2 recent accomplishments. Teddy Bear Academy was approved for a $60,000 New Jersey American Rescue Plan stabilization grant, and the funds can go to past, present, or future operational costs. And they applied for that. That was through their initiative, their desire, that they applied for that, and they earned it. Furthermore, 26 TBA staff members each earned a $1,000 retention bonus grant by completing voluntary training through a grant for licensed child care centers in New Jersey. So that makes $86,000 in alternative funding secured by Teddy Bear Academy staff this spring. Ms. Perlmutter and our TBA staff have been working hard all year to support our families, and this grant is a deserved support for them in turn. I'd like to briefly just reiterate a few key points about a couple of our current topics. Health curriculum will be updated this summer per the most recent New Jersey curriculum standards. Our district will share that updated curriculum with all families in the second half of August, along with the annual information from our curriculum office regarding the option to opt out. For our #1 district goal of full-day kindergarten, our district will be forming a stakeholder committee in late summer that will begin meeting after school resumes as we work toward the goal of full-day kindergarten for all students, no tuition. And we thank our community for bringing that voice to that goal, as we certainly want to work and make it happen. And lastly, tomorrow, our middle school graduations are at the Cherokee football field, and Ms. Romanelli and Mr. Hoffman are here, and we'll be with them tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. Weather's still looking good. DMS 5:30 p.m., MMS 7:30 p.m. Everyone is welcome to cheer on our awesome 8th graders as they cross that threshold. No tickets required. And lastly, since it is our last board meeting before the end of the year, I just want to recognize the work of every person who has been integral to supporting our students this year. And it's so apropos that we had so many students here. A student-centered board meeting, just like we encourage a student-centered classroom. From our dedicated staff in all roles who went above and beyond each day, to our dedicated Board of Education, our PTAs, PTO, Evesham Education Foundation, Township leadership, local community organizations, and all of our parents and families. It took and it takes a village, and ours is called Evesham. Our district wishes all of our staff and families a wonderful and well-deserved summer. Thank you, Mrs. Ryan.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Any questions or comments about the superintendent's report? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Capello,
Yes.
Mrs. Everhart,
Yes.
Mr. Fisicaro,
Yes.
Mr. Cathan,
Yes.
Mrs. Knoll,
Yes.
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Meegan,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving to item 8, curriculum and instruction. I need a motion to approve items 8.1 through 8.5. Do I have a motion? Ms. Everhart, thank you. Second? Ms. Capello, thank you. Any questions or comments to curriculum and instruction? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Capello,
Yes.
Mrs. Everhart,
Yes.
Mr. Fisicaro,
Yes.
Mr. Cathan,
Yes.
Mrs. Knoll,
Yes.
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Meegan,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving to item 9, finance and operations. I need a motion to approve items 9.1 all the way through 9.28. Do I have a motion? Mr. Canthan? Mr. Fisicaro, thank you. Any questions or comments pertaining to finance and operations? Mr. Canthan?
Thanks, President Ryan. Yeah, as we could see, there are 28 finance items this month, so even though the budget is passed, the Finance Committee's been hard at work. So I just wanted to applaud the Finance Committee for all of their efforts throughout this process. Again, just because the budget is passed, the work doesn't stop, and that's indicative from the 28 line items we have here. I also wanted to applaud Inspira Health of Haddon Township in Summerdale, which is now accepting new patients for advertising on 25 of our buses. We've been creative as we can with advertising to find new funding for the district, so thanks to Inspira Health for putting their logo on 25 of our buses.
Thank you. Any other? Ms. Everhart?
So I'm going to be a little Debbie Downer here. I applaud the Finance Committee for all the work that they're doing, and I'm going to implore them to work judiciously hard in preparation of the next budget, because I'm dismayed by the information regarding 9.28. I was talking to another board member that sits on the Finance Committee, and I was dismayed to hear the incredible increase that was given to us by the service provider for transportation. Now, if you remember, historically, about 2 years ago, the same thing occurred. We had a double-digit increase to have our children on busing. It was unconscionable. Then we had COVID, and it was double-digit, but it was much more palatable, and I was fine with that. I am not fine with this double-digit increase yet again, and I'm being told by the representatives from our board that it's due to the rising of, gas and whatnot. Well, everybody's experiencing that, and in no way should this contractor be asking us, who's already fiscally challenged, to bear this incredible, unreasonable increase. I know our hands are tied, and I'm frustrated by that, so I implore the Finance Committee to be creative and think out of the box and find ways that we can give this contractor less of our bus routes, and we do more of it ourselves. We need to disengage with these people, and so that we are not put in this circumstance. They have further tied our hands for this next budget. So I'm sorry for the rant, but I'm very, very frustrated by that. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Mrs. Everhart. Mr. Fisicaro?
I'm going to go off of those sentiments by Ms. Everhart. I do sit on the Finance Committee, and there was pretty much that kind of dismay all around. And you're right, your hands are virtually tied. I think the recommendation really is, and what we are trying to do, is to get as many hires in as possible. And unfortunately, that bus driver shortage that exists really nationwide is at our doorstep too. And I recommend to anybody who's listening, who is thinking about that as a profession or something that they wish to do, to fill it out, because it can be an extraordinarily rewarding field of work. It can be wonderful. And also on top of that, it also saves us from this, because we get to put that money into our hardworking transportation department instead of something that we lease out. So I think the best way to do that is to continue to promote, and I think this is a community thing, to promote the idea that go out, get your license to be a bus driver, and be a part of the team.
Yeah, I agree. I see the signs. They're a little, but I do see the signs out there to go out and get your CDL. That's been put out by our township, so by our school district. So, that's the first step, and I applaud that. But I'm just concerned that this board is now going to have to struggle with balancing, programs and staff and transportation and walking routes, and they've just further tied our hands, and I'm just very dismayed. That's it. I'm frustrated. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak? Ms. Knoll?
Yes, sitting on the Finance Committee, I want to add something, and yes, we are all very frustrated. We have been looking at, as the board knows, areas where we can pull back on the courtesy busing, and we've discussed that, and we are going to be looking towards more communities and working with the township to then make more communities with cross guards so that we can pull back on some of those bus runs. I mean, we have to hit it at every turn we can. So I would say all throughout next year, we'll be discussing with the township again which other neighborhoods we can convert to walkers. And Trish, I think you were in that meeting with the township where the engineer and with the township, they applied for the grant through the state Safe Routes to School, and they did get that grant money for Rice to put additional sidewalks in. So fingers crossed that that's going to come soon as well, so we can convert more neighborhoods to walkers. Other than that, you know, we're getting competitive. Anish can talk about, and Leah, the compression of, you know, the different salaries and all that, so that we could be more competitive and with offering.
I think it's almost like 13 times the CPI. That's their increase. It's just, it's unreasonable.
I
It's
know.
just, and I'm just so frustrated that it's sort of a monopoly. You know, it's been like this for 20-some years where a certain contractor works for our district and another contractor works for the Lenape Regional, and, you know, I was just as frustrated 2 years ago as I am today. So
I
do what
agree.
we can here, and I hope some people go out and get their CDL, and we can have more bus drivers for our district that do the runs. I'm not saying everybody should walk, but, you know, I'm just so frustrated, and I want to be less and less beholden to that
We're trying.
outside contractor.
Yes, Trish, we are trying, and that was what we were trying since 2020 when we were in DeMasi with Joe, and Joe said they have won the battle, but they will not win the war.
If I can just add, if anyone is interested in becoming a driver with our district, please contact me directly. We will pay for your training, any licensing, and you will have our eternal gratitude. So, thank you.
Okay, any more questions or comments? All right, seeing none, roll call, please. Mr. Viscinti?
Mrs. Capello?
Yes, with abstain 9.4.
Okay. Mrs. Everhart?
Yes to everything but 9.28.
Mr. Fizacaro?
Yes.
Mr. Canton?
Yes.
Mrs. Knoll?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Meegan?
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes to everything but 9.4. Abstain.
Okay. Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to item 10, personnel. I need a motion to approve items 10.1 through 10.10. Do I have a motion? Ms. Knoll? Second. Ms. Capello, thank you. Any questions or comments regarding personnel? Okay, roll call, please, Mr. Viscinti.
Mrs. Capello?
Yes.
Mrs. Everhart?
Yes.
Mr. Fizacaro?
Yes.
Mr. Canton?
Yes.
Mrs. Knoll?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Meegan?
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving to item 11, policy. I need a motion to approve items 11.1 and 11.2. Do I have a motion? Mr. Fizacaro? Second? Ms. Lee? Oh, nice. Thank you. Okay. Any questions or comments pertaining to personnel, even though most of these are mandated? Mr. Fizacaro?
I just wanted to make, I mean, obviously I could do this in my
Policies
committee
with us.
report, but I figure we're here.
Most of
now.
these policies are mandated, sorry.
Yes,
Yes, thank you.
I just wanted to make that clear. Just going into my committee report ahead of time, most of these policies in here are mandatory policies as per what we've been working with for the last several months. So these are, you know, when you see these mandatory policies, just for the audience's sake to know that, when you see these mandatory policies, these are coming up down from the state, and they're giving us the guidelines on what to do. And we are following we're following the directions of what they wish. So mostly what we've been working on has been that, and this is just another run at that. So just want to put that out there.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please, Ms. Rosenstein.
Mrs. Capello?
Yes.
Mrs. Everhart?
Yes.
Mr. Fizzicaro?
Yes.
Mr. Catton?
Yes.
Mrs. Knoll?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Meegan?
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Moving on to committee reports, does any committee chair, I'm sorry? Oh, does any committee have a report they wish to share? Ms. Knoll? Okay.
A quick update on technology. We do meet quarterly, so we met in June, early June, to discuss all of the summer projects, which there are many. Mr. Case, Ms. Magulik, they listed everything out for us, and of course, it's the usual bringing in the new Chromebooks, and please forgive me, I did not write a speech, so I'm just winging it here. So the summer projects would include moving Chromebooks up from grade to grade, also the new Chromebooks for the sixth graders, the incoming sixth graders. We have ordered 30 active panels, which I'm not sure if they came in yet. No, but they'll be here soon. So 30 active panels, and with that, the classrooms that they'll be going into, the teachers will get professional development on how to use those active panels. So the technology committee discusses both the hardware and then any of the curriculum and training that goes along with that. So we discuss both of those aspects in our meetings. And Anisha, if I'm forgetting anything, feel free to jump in at the end. So we discussed the summer literacy and math projects, where the technology team would be working on the Padlets. And also we talked about the writing, the finishing up the writing of the curriculum for the new technology standards this summer, so it would be updating our existing technology curriculum. And Mr. Case will be working hard, continuing on some of the switch replacements, also the wireless access points that needed to be upgraded, also continuing on installing or upgrading new security cameras outside and inside. He's giving me the nod, like, yep, you got it all right. So those are some of the things. There's going to be a lot going on this summer, and we're going to meet again in the fall to see how well they both did. That's all. You can always email if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Knoll. Ms. Everhart?
Okay, if you're missing out here, I'll give a curriculum committee report. So I just want to say that this was the last time that we will be doing the safe return plan. We won't be adding anything more to the plan. It will still be on the website, but that is now just a thing of the past. It's there to look at historically, but there'll be no more, fingers crossed, there will be no more changes to the plan. Also, Ms. Magulik updated us with all the project status that was going to be going on starting Monday, probably, with curriculum and tech. So Mrs. Knoll covered the tech aspect. I'm just saying they're just going to be busy aligning several curriculums to the new standards. We will be getting several curriculums to review in August and September for us to vote on in the fall. So that's an update from curriculum. Is there anything you would like to add, Ms. Capella or Ms. Lee? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Everhart. Sure can, Ms. Knoll.
Real quickly, curriculum department, thank you. I received 2 emails, one from elementary and one from Marlton Middle, for the summer and literacy and math projects. So of course I went right to the summer reading PDF. So thank you all on the curriculum committee for working so hard in helping to select that theme, Courage Counts.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
I have a question for...
Sure.
I just have a question for the Finance Committee. I guess, can we have some update, if it's at all possible, on the this vacant land situation?
Absolutely, I'd be glad to update on that. So we are, Mr. Oshinti and I had a meeting last week with the Township manager, Robert Corrales, and with the Township Business Administrator, Alex Davidson, as we talk about the properties. We have a number of appraisals that we have had historically and appraisals the Township has had done since then. And we are working out next steps as far as what the actual details will look like.
Okay.
That's all still being discussed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, all right,
Yeah.
thanks, appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay. Moving into old business, we don't have any old business, and we do not have any new business. So now we're going to move into open public comment. The meeting will now be open to the public referencing any items of interest. However, if your questions or comments pertain to litigation, student or personnel items or negotiations, we ask that you see the superintendent after the meeting, since we do not discuss these matters in public. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes per person, and also that this section is meant for 1 comment per person. If you would like to speak, please come on up to the microphone.
111, okay. John Jenks, 39 Carlton Avenue, Marlton.
Thank you.
Permanent teacher of science, certificated by the state of New Jersey. Tonight's lesson is biology and a little bit of psychology. Of course, most of you know that there's 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs. Sometimes, though, there are some abnormalities there. There's trisomy 21, most of you know Down syndrome, but there's also trisomy 23. 23 are the sex chromosomes. They are, the abnormality would be XXY or XXX. Happens in about 1,100 live births or so. The physical symptoms, these people, of course, are not physically normal. At birth, the testicles are not typically in the scrotum, and they typically will have some latent female characteristics. There's a low chance of these people producing enough sperm and having children. This is not a new condition. Of course, it's been written for the last 3,000 years. It's recorded in the Bible and so forth and so on, specifically in Matthew, where you could be a eunuch from your mother's womb, or without testicles, you could be castrated. Fast forward to the 60s, in the modern science with the advances in surgery and hormones, and these children could now be helped with surgery and hormones so that they would look more male-ish. But by the 70s, modern medicine could also make these folks look female, and of course that's where we go to transsexuals. Look up Dr. Bieber in Colorado, the father of transsexualism. By the 80s, the medical community could go to the roughly 4,000 XXY people in Philadelphia, or the 300,000 people in the United States, and say, look, we can make you look male or female. Well, you have a choice. Well, choice is something that didn't take long for the homosexual community to say, we want that choice also. Okay, so by the turn of the century, we have a lot of transsexual people. So that's a biology lesson. How about the psychology lesson on these folks? So the transsexual people, are they happy and well-adjusted? Some are. Some are very well happy and well-adjusted, and I suppose there are a lot of XXYs that are, okay? Perhaps maybe some boys who have been abused by their parents, clergy, or friends who may be saying to themselves, you know what, I'd rather be a girl, or I'd rather be, if the girls, they abuse girls, they may want to become males, maybe to avoid abuse. Maybe for those folks who have gender dysphoria. Some of you, probably half of you, are at least familiar with the following scenario. Your 12-year-old daughter comes running down the stairs crying, I'm bleeding. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. And so what do most concerning parents do? I'll leave that up to you. But virtually no parents want their children to become permanently have a permanent gender change in the 2nd, 4th, or maybe even the 8th grade. Research shows that 80% of the transgender children have considered suicide, and 40% have attempted suicide. Can you indulge me for just about another minute or so?
Yeah, just, just as
Okay,
quickly as you can. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm almost done.
Okay.
I'm almost done here. Yet, you plan on implementing a curriculum in September that encourages gender choice for normal children. You can see why parents, that is, the 99.6% of the normal gender happy children, are horrified. Somewhere between 20 and 40% of the gender dysphoria children will attempt suicide. You think parents want that? Would you encourage, let me give you a quick analogy.
It has to be quick because you're...
Real quick. Would you encourage your 17-year-old child to buy a motorcycle knowing that the death rate is 29 times higher than cars? Are you going to encourage your teachers to twist the minds of the young children, encourage gender dysphoria, and make them miserable and abnormal? Dogs and cats know better.
We would love... Wait, we would love to, if Mr. Jenks, thank you for coming up to the microphone, but if you want to send us that in an email, we'd be more than happy to read it in its entirety. Thank you. Oh, okay. Anyone else wish to speak for public comment? Now? Come on up to the microphone. Okay.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Can I make a suggestion that to ensure that the public comment moves in an orderly
along.
fashion?
Yes.
That people who are going to speak, it would be appropriate to queue up.
Oh,
and,
okay.
you know, stay as far away from each other as you feel comfortable.
Yes.
But to actually queue up so that you don't
Oh, so we
constantly
have an
going out
awareness
saying
of
anyone
who's
else,
coming.
anyone else, anyone else.
Perfect. We can do that, yes. So if you would like to speak, we would love for you to queue up so we have an idea of like how many people are going to speak. Okay, sir? Name and address, please.
Sure. Aaron Rubin.
Just a little bit closer to the microphone.
Sorry about that. Is this acceptable? Aaron Rubin, 109 Kettle Run. I want to say a couple things. First of all, myself and coworkers had the opportunity to support Science Day and the Science Spectacular at DeMasi and Van Zandt, and that was an absolutely wonderful experience. There's either something in the water, or you guys are absolutely doing a lot of great things with the kids. They were so well behaved and so engaged, and it was fantastic. Additionally, we received a lot of letters from DeMasi, which was a big lift emotionally, and just kind of want to point out how wonderful that is to receive letters. I do want to make sure that the voice of most people in our community who are at this point very well adjusted and welcoming and understanding of people of all different types and backgrounds, genders, both who have realized that they are a different gender than what was assigned at birth, and those who don't want to identify with a particular gender. It is very important that we accept people and adopt practices, especially that do not make them feel marginalized in the classroom, and that includes recognizing them for who they are. So I would like to voice support for those types of policies, and just making sure that everybody feels included as they came to the school. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rubin. Do you want to give a shameless plug for your science topic and your company? We would love to hear what you told our kids about.
Well, actually, in DeMasi, we did polymerization, 2 different types, also known as cloud slime. I like to kind of give overly technical information to help suppress the level of excitement to kind of keep the things, so that's why I'm like, you know, say polymerization, say these complicated chemical names, and the kids kind of have a blast as they do that and do the slime. Within Van Zandt, we kind of split, so the company's name is Mixed Media Arts, and we split. They did slime, and I did emergent behaviors, which is a computer science topic. It is a lot of fun to act out the simple behaviors that, when composed together, produce apparently very complex behaviors as it goes. And it is important computer science and biology research and a lot of things that we see in science. But most of all, it's fun, and I get to kind of come in and do this like grandparent teaching, I call it. I like to sugar up the kids and then send them back to their teachers, kind of sugared up and excited, and leave. But again, thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'm sure Ms. Romanelli will pass along her thanks as well. Next up, name and address, please.
Mari Canaleo.
A little bit closer to the mic. Okay.
I'm Mari Cantaleo. I live in Kings Grant. I'm wearing a shirt tonight that says protect trans kids. And what that means is protect my child. I have a transgender child. I have a bisexual child. I'm bisexual myself. We're an LGBTQ family. My child came up through Cherokee High School, was bullied every day, consistently. There were some great teachers, some great counselors that helped her. When I listen to someone take the science that we, as parents who've been educated by doctors, by other scientists, psychiatrists, psychologists, and twist it and say that because our children are under a legal age of 18, that they shouldn't have health care that affirms who they are. It's the reason why I'm here and why I have advocated for my children for years. If you haven't read a suicide note from your child because the world doesn't understand who they are, I hope you never do. I hope you don't know anybody who does, because I have. And I read that note late, because if something hadn't happened for her, I would have found the note a year later when I found it. I wouldn't have known. I wish that I knew and that she knew that she was trans earlier, because she knew that there was something different about her for years and had no idea that there was a community who would support her and that who would affirm who she was. I wish that my child knew this earlier, because her doctors, her psychiatrists and psychologists and medical professionals in the trans community would have helped her earlier, and she wouldn't have irreparable changes from puberty that make people look at her and think that she's not who she is. So thank you for letting me speak, but I really wish that there were more people here in our community in Marlton who looked outside themselves and outside what they think they know and actually speak to us, speak to families of LGBTQ people, trans people, because all she wants as an amazing person is just to find her way in life, and what she wants to do as an adult in a career, in love, in everything. She has us, she has my family, and she has a community of support, but she shouldn't need it. She should be allowed to just be who she is without listening to people who don't know what they're talking about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up. Good evening. Name and address, please.
Tracy Fox, 330
A little bit closer to the
Overbrook.
mic.
Tracy Fox, 330 Overbrook. We hear a lot of words thrown around, words like grooming, indoctrination, words meant to elicit fear from the masses with no real facts to back them up. Let's start with grooming. According to Rahel Bayer, a former sex crime and child abuse prosecutor and founder of the Bayer Group, which works with schools to prevent sexual misconduct and child abuse, one of the biggest pieces of abuse prevention is to teach children the correct anatomical names for their body parts and not attach any type of shame or embarrassment to them. When kids think there is something shameful about down there, they are less likely to come forward because they are afraid of getting into trouble. Grooming preys on fear, shame, and silence. Indoctrination, the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. What is it that we are teaching them to accept? Bodily autonomy, consent, that sometimes we have feelings we aren't sure about and that's okay? No one is forcing alternate lifestyles on our children. I fully trust in the board and the teachers to disseminate this information in a healthy and age-appropriate way. Despite the hysterical outrage by some, I do not believe there will be actual demonstrations of masturbation or anal sex in the classroom, not even when they get to high school. We hear things like, my kids don't know what that is. Trust me, your kids do. We hear, but the children. Then we see posts bemoaning the facts that these hateful people feel they raised their children better than to wear a mask, to accept homosexuality or befriend transgender children, to live and let live. It seems the only people that are attempting to indoctrinate the children are their parents, members of these hate groups that fear they are losing their roles as sole influence in their children's lives. The kids have proven time and time again they are okay. A curriculum focused on inclusion and diversity is something many of these adults could have greatly benefited from when they were in school. As an aside, with all due respect to scientific quotes, nobody chooses homosexuality or transgenderism. As someone who has been told I have an improbable number of non-binary and bisexual and transgender people in my immediate family, you can read all the textbooks you want until you see firsthand the effect that these kids, what social, their surroundings does to them when they feel that they know they are not who they present as and they do not get the support they need. School is supposed to be a safe place for everyone, and without actually putting into effect a curriculum that includes them definitively, they're going to continue high rates of attempted suicide, and you are going to have parents dealing with this on a regular basis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up, guys? Eric Sparazza, 701 Mount Vernon Court.
Thank you.
So during the day, I'm a corporate trainer for a pretty big company. My job is a human resources trainer. It's what I do. I teach adults in a much less thrilling environment than our teachers teach. But here's what's funny. What I teach is yearly compliance, annual compliance, what I have to teach to adults every day. How to act, how to behave in the workplace, how to get along with others, because if you cannot be inclusive, you lose your job. I challenge anyone to walk through the main concourse of my company thumping a book talking about how some people shouldn't exist biologically. You're getting fired. You're getting a box party carried right out the front door. The world is changing. Go on LinkedIn once. Just see that the world is changing. The world is promoting inclusivity. It starts in our communities. It starts in our schools. If we start by making people feel like they can't come to Marlton because they have a special needs kid, or a gay kid, or they're minorities because the school isn't making inclusivity a priority, then there's no reason to be here. And for all of you voted, volunteered servants of the world on this board here today, it's your job to make sure that these kids can walk out into this world as an adult, into my training room, where if they do not play by the rest of the world's rules, not from a book from the 1960s, they're gonna lose their job. And I'm the guy that's gonna make sure they do. So let's start from the very beginning. Let's start with how people are included in the schools first. How about we, I don't know, consider more special needs classes again? We went from 6 to 2 in our district. Great job. And now we're still entertaining conversations about grooming. This is our responsibility. This is our community. You're all sitting here on this board. This isn't a stepping stone for other political endeavors, guys. You have a responsibility to our community and to our kids. And if you don't want that job, step off. Let someone else take it. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're just as much a part of raising my children as me. And I'm not liking what I'm seeing.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Public comment? No? Oh, no. Oh, okay, come on up. Name and address, please.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan John. I'm not going to give you my address just for personal reasons.
Okay.
But some of the comments that I have heard at some of these past board meetings have been horrific. And I know this isn't on you, and I know a lot of you personally, and I love you guys, but I want to say that I was a student at Cherokee High School, and I was bullied for being gay, and I was told by a student in the locker room that I should be dead, that I should be murdered, that I don't deserve to live. And this is basically what we're accepting here, that all these alt-right people, that's what they want to instill in all of us. Well, I'm still here, and I was raised with a sister who didn't end up being gay. We were raised by 2 heterosexual parents, and in that case, look what happened. I'm still here, I'm still gay, I didn't choose it. So I am hoping that this Board of Education will eventually, that we can work towards doing more for our children, for our gay, transgender, non-binary, lesbian, bisexual children, that we are all just like everybody else, and for all those so-called Christians out there who say that it's wrong, Jesus loves the little children. He loves all the little children of the world. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Oh, okay, thank you. Name and address, please.
Hi, my name's Robert Falcone.
Just, you can pull it out if you so you don't have to.
Should be okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm 62 Mill Park Lane.
What was your name? I'm sorry, I interrupted
Robert
you.
Falcone.
Okay, thank you.
And I think it's nice that primary seasons are over and things kind of look like they've gone back to normal, right? No circus here. I do want to say one thing, though. The Board of Ed has to follow NJDOE Code of Ethics, and there's a specific member of the board who seems to have broken that Code of Ethics, and the board should look at removing that member, or we should look at doing a recall effort. And that member is Dennis. He has been colluding with the circus, and it should be addressed as soon as possible.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close public comment. At this point, we're going to go into board member announcements. Seeing none? Okay. We actually have to go into a second executive session, so let me just read you this. Whereas NJSA 10:4-12 allows for a public body to go into closed session during a public meeting, and whereas the Board of Education of Evesham Township has deemed it necessary to go into closed session to discuss certain matters which are exempted from the public, and whereas the regular meeting of the Board of Education will reconvene following the end of the closed session, probably at about 9:30-ish. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education will go into closed session for the following reasons as outlined in NJSA 10:4-12, and there will not be action taken after this executive session, just to let the public know.
This is for personnel and attorney-client communication
Yes,
only.
this is
There
for
will be no
personnel.
action taken at the conclusion of the executive session.
That is correct. Okay, so at this point, I need a motion to go into executive session. Mr. Canthan, second. Ms. Capello? Okay, we'll reconvene at approximately 9:30. Thank you. Oh, can I have a roll?